Welcome to Lariat TV News. I'm Caitlin Sides. It may feel like this year's flown by, but we've been with you the entire way.
And I'm Braden Murray. We've documented stories from all corners of campus this year, and we have a few more stories for you today. We saw the new restaurant opening that took place earlier this week.
A new restaurant has officially opened its doors in Waco, bringing a concept the city hasn't seen before. Irma Pena has the sizzling details.
There's a new restaurant in town and people are already talking about it. Casa do Brasil workers say they've seen the excitement building and they're prepared for what's to come.
The community is very excited from what I've seen. They tell me that whenever a new restaurant opens up, the whole community kind of crowds the restaurant. So we're excited for that, and we're prepared for that as well. And we're excited to serve the Waco community.
Being the first rodizio-style restaurant, they are excited to bring the Brazilian culture to Waco. While its main concept is fried meats, they also have a variety of options for many people.
There's a little bit of different options for everyone, whether it's seafood, pescatarians, vegetarians. We're very open to all of that, even gluten-free. We have some of the best gluten-free bread that you can ever try in our pão de queijo. So I recommend anyone who comes in to try that for sure.
But beyond the food and flavors, Casa members say it's also about creating opportunity and making a difference in people's lives.
So here in Casa, we open opportunity for about 70 new family that would provide a job, so we can support their family, and we expecting we can provide the great quality and service to all Waco community.
Casa do Brasil is now open and ready to welcome Waco. The team says they're looking forward to being part of the community. For Lariat TV News, I'm Irma Pena.
The external vice president and student body president have officially opened up applications to be on their cabinets. The cabinets vary on how many positions they have, but they're looking to fill all the vacancies. The application opened this past Monday and closed on May 16th. The student body is looking for well-rounded individuals to fill these spaces.
At the end of the day, what we do when we're hiring for cabinet, for me, it's truly about creating a team and a family. It's not just like based off your individual position. It's really, can you come in and buy into the community of not just our cabinet, but also student government.
The application can be found on What's New BU and on Connect.
There's a new indoor golf facility right off campus. LTVN's Lauren Holcomb took a swing on some of the greatest courses in the world right on Bagby Avenue.
Oh, it's pretty good.
That was not towards the flag.
Okay, but it's rolling.
Whether you're a beginner golfer like me or a seasoned pro, Ready Golf is officially open 24/7 just steps away from campus. Baylor graduate Josh Letta proposed the company for his entrepreneurship capstone project, and 5 years later, he made it a reality.
My heart is to grow the game of golf, but do it in an affordable way. That way everybody can play. And so you get to play the best courses in the world here. You also get to train with all the metrics, like impact location, club speed, ball speed, everything that you would need. I wanted to take PGA Tour level stats and experience and bring it to Baylor campus and bring it to students.
Surprisingly, Letta's love for golf bloomed in the Baylor Sciences building. Everyone in his astronomy class were glued to their laptops, and he realized they were watching the Masters.
That year was when Jordan Spieth, actually, he was winning by a lot, and we kind of messed it up in the end. He put 2 in the water, so I was like, I can put 2 in the water. Fast forward now, many years later, we're starting this business, and anybody can play that same course. And what's really cool is that exact same shot that got me hooked in golf is what you see behind me.
Letta says it's a gift to bridge the virtual and the physical and to watch competitive spirit light up in eager golfers.
Give it your best shot. Chase the giftings and the dreams that you have. At least you know that when you are in your deathbed one day that you've given all that you have, and that's not, dying with you, but that you get to share that to the world, and hopefully along the way bless a lot of people with it.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Lauren Holcomb.
A Baylor senior is defending her thesis, blending weaving, poetry, and craftsmanship to explore how beauty and meaning come together in art. LTVN's O'Connor Daniel has the story.
2.5 years ago in her Latin class, art student Claire Cochran became interested in the acrostic, a literary device used in ancient texts, and based her senior thesis on it, creating a series of weavings inspired by an ancient Latin poem.
Kind of what drew me to weaving and aroused that passion was its historical quality and its connection to antiquity, and then the explicit connection of weaving and text.
For Claire, the nature of beauty is the driving force behind her art and a desire to create work with detail, purpose, and meaning.
If I had to boil my work down to anything, it's an interest in beauty and craftsmanship, which I think in a lot of ways in just like the contemporary art scene is kind of lost. I think right now there's a little bit more of a push for like conceptual art over like work done well with like high craftsmanship. The role of art and beauty, like it does point to that, like this is good, like creation is good because it bears testament to like the character of God.
After graduation, Claire will continue developing her skills in Florence, Italy, where she'll be living on the same street as Michelangelo did and attending the Florence Academy of Art to study classical drawing and art history.
The draw to Florence was just like, one, its connection to like just art history and like the development of art, because that was such a huge center for so much of like Western art, just like the collection at the Uffizi and the Accademia. Like there's just so much there, and I think it's important and like really awesome to surround yourself with good art, and you just like can't replicate some of that in a picture. So part of it was just like, okay, I want to be somewhere where I can go study these masterpieces like up close.
To keep up with Claire's journey in Florence and view more of her beautiful art, follow her account at Claire Cochran Studio. For Lariat TV News, I'm O'Connor Daniel.
Tragedy takes the stage as Baylor Theater opens its production of Othello, but this classic Shakespearean tale comes with a twist. Baylor Theater last produced Othello back in 1987 with Samuel Jackson as the lead, and 37 years later this drama is back with a 1960s jazzy twist. Director Sam Henderson says he chose to set the play in the 1960s, during the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement, because that era reflects themes he believes Shakespeare was exploring.
I think we've hit my goal about doing something different. It's pretty dang different. I don't think a whole lot of people who have had experience with Othello, whether they've just read it or they've seen movies or whatever, will ever see a version that's been quite like this.
Mission Waco held its annual Race 1 5K this past Saturday, bringing together runners of all ages, backgrounds, and abilities for a community event supporting a greater cause. Marin Small has the story.
Now in its 13th year, Race 1 began in 2012 through a partnership with Baylor's Alpha 2 Omega fraternity. Since then, the event has become a key part of Mission Waco's outreach, with 100% of the proceeds going directly to programs that serve the homeless and strengthen the surroundings of the neighborhood.
A lot of times we are an overlooked neighborhood, and so I love that folks can come and see how beautiful our neighborhood is and how bright and diverse it is. And I think that's something that's great for our neighbors, just to continue to bring people on this side of town.
This year's ATO member Matthew Fody helped lead the charge, along with Will Thompson and other volunteers helped secure sponsors, design t-shirts, and spread the word throughout the Baylor and Waco communities.
I wanted to pair with Mission Waco through ATO because I do love philanthropy projects, and Mission Waco and Race 1 itself was a way for me to work on philanthropy projects, but also benefit the Waco community too, and not just work with the people I know in ATO and kind of expand.
Planning the event took months, but the impact was felt in just a few hours.
Being out here and just seeing the smiles on everybody's faces and seeing so much connectivity between kind of Baylor bubble breaking and people that live in Waco was really special, and it made me want to get more involved.
Friends, families, and community members came together for the Race 1 5K, showing support for a cause that uplifts Waco's neighborhoods. From first-time runners to long-term residents, the event highlighted how even a few miles can bring people together and make a lasting impact. For Lariat TV News, I'm Marin Small.
Coming up in sports, we recap Acro and Tumbling's record 10th straight championship.
And we preview baseball series with Arizona State. Stay tuned.
I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever
Saturday night, number 1 Acrobatics and Tumbling made history as they won their 10th straight NCATA championship title. This was the Bears' 6th time facing Oregon in the finals and defeated the Ducks in 16 of the 19 heats. Baylor earned season-high scores in toss, heats 2 and 3, earning a 9.875 in both. Several athletes also received end-of-the-year awards, with sophomore Peyton Washington being named D1 Athlete of the Year, senior Jordan Grundler D1 Specialist of the Year, and Levy McDonald D1 Freshman of the Year. Coach Felicia Mulkey earned NCATA Coach of the Year, her second time to win the award at Baylor.
Them coming in and locking in their confidence, we worked so hard on just being a well-oiled machine and just, being all these parts coming together to work efficiently and with a high level of precision and doing it over and over and over again, and they did that.
Spring football drew to a close over the weekend, and Coach Aranda is looking to be aggressive in the transfer portal. Braden Murray has the story.
Baylor football held the first ever Baylor Blitz at McLean Stadium over the weekend, which included a youth skills challenge and ended with an open practice to conclude spring camp.
It was super fun. It kind of reminded me of the thing we did at the bowl game. It's kind of that similar kind of format. So just kind of being able to give back to the community, it's always a pleasure. You know what I'm saying? So I was actually able to run around with the little camera, the little tripod. So it was awesome. It was awesome.
After winning their last 6 regular season games last year, the Bears have higher expectations for this coming season, and it's been the spring preparing for that.
It's not really pressure, but more of expectations. The standard is higher. And I think we've got a lot of pieces coming back, and this spring has been just building on it. And it's been really cool to see some guys who were big pieces last year who are going to be even bigger pieces next year, and new guys coming in that are going to be successful in the fall too. And it's just been really cool.
With the transfer portal now closed, Aranda and his staff are looking to pick up depth pieces in various positions, namely wide receiver and defensive line.
This particular transfer window has been primarily defense for us. It hasn't been intentional. We haven't come out trying to play defense. We very much wanted to be offensively minded in our approach, but it was one thing after the other.
Baylor opened the 2025 season by hosting the Auburn Tigers at McLean Stadium on August 29th.
Chasing a third conference series win, baseball takes on Arizona State this weekend at home. Baylor is looking to rise in Big 12 standings and currently sits in 9th place. Coming off a 15-4 win over Sam Houston Tuesday night, the Bears are 28-16. Arizona State is tied for 3rd place in Big 12 standings, and the Sun Devils are coming off a series sweep against BYU last weekend. This is the first meeting between the programs as Big 12 foes.
We've had good success on Tuesdays. We've shown up on Tuesdays and played well for the most part, and so to go on the road at Sam Houston was good. It was a well-played game. We're just trying to continue to play one game at a time and play them well. And Arizona State will give us a heck of a challenge this weekend.
First pitch is 6:30 p.m. Friday, with games 2 and 3 on Saturday and Sunday. And that's all for sports this week. We're keeping it short for you,
because up next, the best we had to offer this semester. Keep it here.
Professor Stephen Green, or Stevie G as he's known in the barbecue community, serves up great lessons in the classroom and great food in his spare time. Here's my favorite story of the year. Professor Green wasn't always a barbecue guru. His introduction to barbecue is unique to your average Texan.
But I didn't know anybody that would make it growing up, right? And so when I got out on my own and started learning how to cook for myself via YouTube, one day I had a craving for barbecue and I was like, I've never tried it. Let's just see how it goes.
Before becoming a grill master, he started out by cooking for friends and family.
Like, when you make barbecue, you make a lot of food. So I always invited friends over to help me eat all that food so I didn't have pounds and pounds of leftovers. And I always got good feedback from my friends about it, and it was like, oh, this is great. When are you going to open the restaurant? Kind of as a joke.
His friends always joked that they wanted him to open up a restaurant. but Green had other plans.
I don't have any interest in opening like a brick and mortar restaurant. I think the closest I would go is a food truck, just because the restaurant industry is notoriously not easy, to put it lightly, I think. So I really love the catering business model, because if I have an event to cater for, I cook and it's all kind of over within 24 hours, and it's kind of one straight shot of let me do it all in one go, rather than always be open and always be on.
As a Texan, he loves all barbecue, but he put one meat a cut above.
You know, it's Texas, and brisket is kind of king, and that's what everyone talks about, but I think a beef rib is really kind of the best bite in barbecue.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Jacob Stowers.
My favorite story I covered this semester was the Bearathon, and for the first time, the half marathon sold out and family and friends lined the course with creative and fun signs to cheer on the runners.
3, 2, 1.
This Saturday at McLean Stadium, Baylor Student Activities hosted the annual Bearathon and Sikkim 6K. The event drew Baylor students, alumni, and Waco residents all coming together to show their support.
In this event, I love it. I think it's so fun. I feel like there's a really good turnout this year too, and so there's just like a lot of people who are supporting students, alumni, Waco community. It's kind of cool that it's just everybody. Yeah.
Many students got creative by designing unique signs to cheer their friends and family members throughout the race. These handmade signs decorated with colorful artwork, motivational messages, and inside jokes added a personal and supportive touch to the event.
I'm excited. Yes, I'm so excited. I feel so much more like prepared this time around, and it's just so sweet to like see the community come together and like cheer everybody on. It's awesome.
The event reached full capacity 2 weeks before registration closed, marking the first time the half marathon has ever sold out. A record of 2,000 participants signed up for the event, which helps raise funds for student scholarships.
Just to have really a good time, enjoy themselves, make memories. A lot of students run this, so they run with their friends, and it's a great way to make memories while helping raise money for students in need.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Maren Small. One of my favorite parts about being a journalist is getting to tell stories about people. This semester, I sat down with softball head coach Glenn Moore, and it became one of my favorite stories to date. Baylor softball head coach Glenn Moore is celebrating 25 years in his position. Prior to coming to Baylor, Moore coached at Northwestern State, William Carey University, and LSU. But something about Waco really stuck out.
Within about 4 or 5 hours of being on campus, my wife and I looked at each other and said, this is where we want to move. And we felt God calling us to be here, and really felt comfortable. And that was 25 years ago. So God has really blessed us.
Through his decades of coaching, Moore has kept up with many athletes and believes the mission behind the sport has been the most impactful.
I have a list of every athlete that I ever coached, and know many of the ones I recruited, and in all of the camps we've done, Baylor has allowed us to use this platform to change some lives and lead people to Christ. And the baptisms we've had, those far exceed any of the trophies we've ever won here.
With a new season on the horizon and falling short at the Super Regionals last year, the team is coming in with a new mentality.
To play with a chip on our shoulders, and because we felt, hey, we were probably even better than we thought we were, and we're going to make sure that this year that we don't leave any doubt, and we're going to play up to the level that Baylor softball is supposed to.
Softball starts their season Thursday with the tournament in College Station. For Lariat TV News, I'm Claire Marie Scott.
My first story for the Lariat took me inside one of Waco's most historic mansions, home to Dr. Pepper's first president. This semester, my favorite stories have been the relational ones, and this gave me the chance to connect with the antique store owners and learn more about Waco's history. On the corner of 16th Street and Merritt Avenue lies one of Waco's oldest and grandest examples of early 1900s architecture. It was founded by Robert Lazenby, the president of Dr. Pepper, after his beloved drink went on to be a wild success.
It was built in 1908, and it was built for Robert Lazenby. He was the first president of Dr. Pepper, and he was a beverage chemist, and he owned a bottling company. So he took Dr. Pepper from being a beverage at a soda fountain to being bottled and then gave it to the world.
Robert Lazenby had the mansion built in cutting-edge mission-style architecture, a shift from Victorian design. In the 50s, it became show-and-tell antiques.
Yes, we're an antique shop, but we also like to tell people about the historical significance of the house because Lazenby was a very important part of Waco history.
Along with its historical significance, the house has a personal connection to Baylor's film department.
So my son had made a film here that was in the Waco Independent Film Festival, and we've worked with Baylor kids in the film department.
Given the building's character, the Lazenby Mansion has been used by Baylor film students to create movie sets, showcasing a variety of genres such as crime and drama.
Such a great old house. It could really be, used in so many different ways. So it's been fun, and we look forward to doing that more in the future, having people come in and be able to use it for special events.
You can visit one of Waco's most memorable antique stores on Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and by appointment. For Lariat TV News, I'm O'Connor Daniel.
In my first year with LTVN, I've been fortunate to have many great experiences, but none bigger than the opportunity to cover my first March Madness game. Here's my recap of Baylor's first round win over GCU.
Hosting the first round of the NCAA tournament, number 4 Baylor women's basketball defeated number 13 Grand Canyon University 76-60. The win marked Baylor's 21st consecutive win in the first round of the tournament and snapped the Lopes' 30-game win streak coming into the tournament.
We had some adversity, and I think I had, I don't want to call that timeout, but I felt the nerves. I felt that we needed to settle down, and I think. You tell them, like, hey, they're going to reach claw scrap. I told them, you're going to have claw marks on your arms at the end of the day. And we do. We got blood all over us.
Making their first ever tournament appearance in school history, Grand Canyon led for most of the first half. Baylor was able to claw their way back late in the second quarter, going 10 for 14 from the free throw line and led 31-28 at halftime.
I know that Grand Canyon was picked as a bit of a bracket buster as well because they're good. And I think that they were playing faster than we were ready for them to play.
Baylor extended their lead out of halftime and led by as much as 13 in the game. The Bears outscored the Lopes 58-42 in the second half. Despite a strong push from GCU, Baylor's 50% shooting from the field secured the win.
Kind of told them at halftime, like, look, you have something that's really special, and her name is Erin Avonleh. And she is commanding 2 people on every possession. The girl guarding her and the one in help side. And whether it's ball side help, backside help, sometimes they were both. Like, we have to play off of her, and you guys are going to get great shots.
Senior center Erin Volney led Baylor with 25 points and 11 rebounds. Senior guard Jada Walker had 17 points, with 11 of those coming in the third quarter. Grand Canyon was led by senior guard Trinity San Antonio, who led all players with 27 points.
Jada's a very good point guard. She creates for us, but she also knows how to create for herself. So I'm proud of her for how aggressive she was in that quarter. And then proud of her for, finding me when I was open.
In the second round, Baylor takes on number 5 Ole Miss on Sunday at Foster Pavilion. The Bears are chasing a second straight Sweet 16 appearance. For Lariat TV News from Foster Pavilion, I'm Aiden Pham.
We aren't quite done yet. More Best of Show when we come back.
Let there be light. Let there be roommates and teammates and strangers who become family. Let there be marching and cheering. Let there be challenging courses and time to share. Scholarship and championships. Let there be groundbreaking and soul-searching. Let there be laughter. Let there be joy. Let there be light.
The future of DEI was a huge question earlier this semester. I got the chance to sit with President Linda Livingstone to discuss how Baylor plans to respond to new DEI laws. Here's my favorite story of the year.
Students have grown concerned about the future of DEI at Baylor. However, President Linda Livingstone has ensured that Baylor will continue to pour into students from all backgrounds. About 42% of Baylor's student body comes from a diverse background, and President Livingstone wants to continue this trend.
We want to have
people coming to us from all around the world, from all across the country, with all kinds of different backgrounds and experiences that have different life experiences, and we want to give them experiences while they're here that help them to grow and develop from that in the context of a caring Christian environment.
The university is creating future leaders, and with Baylor's Christian mission, mutual respect is prioritized.
We're preparing people to lead in a global sense, so because of that, we have to care about preparing people to work with those that are different than them from all walks of life, from all cultures and experiences. And we want to do that rigorously academically, which is critical to us as an academic institution. And we want to do it in a caring and loving and respectful way.
President Livingstone says the university will commit to their Christian beliefs of loving their neighbor as themselves.
You will see us continue to lean into supporting students and faculty and staff from all kinds of backgrounds and experiences.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Marissa Moniz.
I was on the way to the gym in early February when a protest on Waco Drive caught my eye. I pulled over and I had the chance to talk with the hosts and participants in a highly contested peaceful protest. Here's my behind-the-scenes look at one of McLennan County Democratic Party's Waco Resist rallies. Just a few days ago, the McLennan County Democratic Party was right out here on the corner of Valley Mills and Waco Drive protesting the Trump administration. And now they've been in office for about a month, and Waco has been using their voice to show their opposition.
We're here to oppose what President Trump is doing, give everybody an opportunity to express their mind. And hopefully this rally is twice the size of the one we did 2 weeks ago. We hope the next one will be twice that size. And eventually this will turn into votes and will turn into change.
Protesters' concerns spanned from Elon Musk's heading of the Department of Government Efficiency to President Donald Trump's crackdown on immigration.
We believe that the immigration system should be reformed rather than trying to haul people away from our country that are probably needed here in most cases.
McLennan County reported Trump fans received 64.82% of votes, with Harris Waltz getting 33.97%. Although the county turned an uneven split, there are areas where the two can find a common ground.
You have an issue, you want to get people's attention, you think that maybe protesting on the corner you're going to catch some independent voters' attention, but with your sign, and maybe pull them to your party. If you want to do that, I have no problem with it. I would encourage the Republican Party to do the same if they have an issue they want to.
Fernandez said getting advice for financial decisions from consultants like Musk who bring positive economic results should not be frowned upon, and he thinks this more so is happening because of the conservative stereotype. He argued it's the negative connotation that can come with being a Trump supporter that deters people from the economic ideas rather than the actual ideas themselves.
It's derangement, really. I mean, there's a term that Trump coined himself. It's TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, and that's basically you hear Trump and you can't think anything positive, even if it's a positive thing. Like, he could make the gas prices go down, and people would be like, well, he didn't do it. They try to find a way to make it like that he did something wrong.
Both sides say they're eager to engage in conversation about these ideas and find some sense of unity amongst the divide. This is the second Waco Resist rally in the past month, and the McLennan County Democratic Party is hopeful to organize more in the future. For Lariat TV News, I'm Lauren Holcomb.
This semester, I had the honor of interviewing one Baylor student who isn't just hitting the books, but all the right notes. I got to highlight exactly what this baritone is up to.
I was always like, oh, I'm just going to share it with them, and it's like not going to be anybody else's. And so then I had a concert, and I thought, wow, it's like really cool to share my music with more than just my friends. And so I decided to release my first song.
What started as a passion project just for his close friends has quickly turned into something much bigger for Langley Sarovich.
I started writing music my sophomore year, freshman year of college, and then I started seriously writing music my junior year of college. And I think up to junior I've written like 5 or 6 songs, and then past junior I think I'm up to like 130 or 140, so I just kind of like took off after junior year and wrote a ton of music.
Langley is a senior business fellow from Vail, Colorado, who loves to make music and said that this is a way for him to decompress and connect with his emotions. In between studying for the MCAT and writing his theses, Langley found time to jump into the studio and create an EP. He recently released a new EP with 4 songs on it called Live from Memorial Chapel.
So it's called Live from Memorial Chapel. And the reason I chose to sing in Memorial Chapel is I was in the honors college, so that's where I kind of started writing all my music, my freshman and sophomore year. And I chose the 4 songs that I chose were the 4 songs that I started writing or finished writing in Memorial Chapel. So the chapel means a lot to me.
Langley did not create this EP alone. He had lots of help from his close friends who worked as his producers on this project. His main producer, Major Hargraves, had this to say about working on the EP.
He reached out about this project. I knew I had to be a part of it, and was really excited about just recording the process of Langley telling his stories and recording in such a beautiful environment.
You can find Live from Memorial Chapel on all streaming platforms. For Lariat TV News, I'm Gracie Savage.
Out of all the stories I covered this semester, there was one that made the biggest splash, literally. I got to share how local police officers took an icy plunge to support the Special Olympics. Here's my favorite story of the year.
It's not every day you see police officers jumping into freezing water, but today they're taking the plunge for a good cause.
Police departments across the state are hosting events to raise money for the Special Olympics.
It is such an amazing thing to see these athletes get to do the things that they didn't necessarily think they could do or they were told they couldn't do. Special Olympics, they make it happen. They make sure that their dreams are coming true.
And that support was evident as officers, community members, and athletes came together for this year's Polar Plunge. From kids to adults, even Darth Vader joined in on the fun.
It is a fun time. It's a time for us to come out here and freeze for a few seconds when we jump in the water. But fundamentally, it is to bring awareness and education and just to recognize that that population is not different. They're not special in that sense. They're just like you and I with great skill sets, and they bring a lot to our community and smiles on our faces, and that's what it's about.
Some say they look forward to more opportunities to participate.
Well, I really learned that to skip doing events, and I think it's really fun to do it, and because I just want them to just enjoy it and to have fun.
Now that the police Polar Plunge is over, Waco PD is ready to keep supporting Special Olympic athletes and getting the community more involved. For Lariat TV News, I'm Irma Peña.
During my time with LTV, I've got the opportunity to talk to several professional athletes. But this semester, I talked to Jalen Petrie, a player I actually caught the cover when he was at Baylor. Here's my favorite story. This past season, Baylor football alumnus Jalen Petrie was Houston Texans nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award, the NFL's top award for philanthropic work in the community.
It was a great honor. I think one of the biggest honors I've ever received in my lifetime. You know, it was something that I was kind of caught by surprise with. I felt like I had no idea that I was going to be chosen. And I think it just goes back to the work that not only that I put in for the community, but the people that helped me as well, and the people around me that motivate me and do things that make me want to help out others.
Petrie is recognized for his Feed 5 More program with kids' meals, a Houston-based nonprofit that delivers free meals to young children. Recently, Jalen, his brother Jarek, and his father Rick started the Petrie Boys Foundation.
Oh man, I was so excited because just like seeing all the other guys that won it before him, like Dak Prescott, players like that, it's just to be in that conversation with those guys is big, and just knowing that his mission that he has, just want to be in a community. No matter how big you are, he always want to help people out.
Jalen was a part of the 2021 Big 12 and Sugar Bowl championship team and was named the Big 12's Defensive Player of the Year, as well as being the first-team All-American.
I think I was, quote-unquote, like just the guy that received the awards, but I feel like those were more team awards because we had a great team those years, and I was just one of the guys that was on the field most of the time. So I definitely enjoyed playing with that team and had a lot of fun.
Jalen was picked by the Texans, his hometown team, in the second round of the 2022 NFL Draft.
I was just more so worried about just whenever my name was called, just going there and putting in the work and, learning as much as I could. But it was crazy that God drew it up that way for me to come back to the crib and go home to where I was from and play for a team that I grew up watching.
Jalen expects Baylor to do well next season. He's hoping to make it to a few spring practices. For Lariat TV News, I'm Braden Murray.
FM 72 has been one of my favorite events during my time at Baylor. And this year, I got to close my chapter out at Baylor by talking about how the event is only getting bigger. Here's my favorite story of the year.
This is not, it's not a conference. It's not a preaching event. It's not a stage event. At the heart of it, we want this to be a prayer event.
FM 72 is back for the 6th year, and so is the prayer tent. Each night the tent is packed with students, but many are left wondering, how did this idea for a prayer tent come about? Just 1 year before the start of FM 72, Baylor BSM hosted a prayer tent, and the creators of FM 72 were inspired by this idea.
There's something very special about the tent. It's that tabernacle idea of setting a time aside. It's like a festival in the Bible, setting this time aside where we're going to come up together.
You think about it, 7 years ago when FM 72 started, if a 22-year-old came to that, they're now 29. They're in the middle of their career. Some of them make 6 figures or more, and their life might have been changed at this ministry gathering.
FM 72 leaders estimate that they had around 3,000 attendees on the first night, and they say that the tent has turned from a side attraction into FM 72's central idea.
In the prayer tent, you're experiencing. You're sitting there, you're on your own, you're journaling, you're watching others, you're engaging. So it's not just your mind, your rational mind that's kind of processing these words. There's more going on.
FM 72's team worked on setting up the tent 72 hours before the first service and are excited to see how lives are changed through this 3-day event.
Over the years, as we emphasized prayer and taught on prayer and really sought God year-round in prayer, the prayer tent has become more of the central thing, and that's why it's grown from being these 3 tiny little tailgating tents to now this nearly 10,000 square foot tent, that we're sitting in now.
The prayer tent allows for people who process things differently and at a different pace and think through things differently to have a kind of a more rounded experience, and I think to kind of persevere, and that in itself is very powerful.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Caitlin Sides.
And that's all this year for Lariat TV News. Whether you enjoyed watching the news, how much we have loved bringing it to you. And don't worry, we'll be back right here again in the fall.
So from our team here at Lariat TV News to you for one last time, as always, have a great week and sic 'em Bears.